That's a player you're going to have to watch out for is Asuna. That's a nice little advantage. That's going to cause a peek out coming in from the knives of BABYBAY, who's found now 3 kills on the round. Nice little smoke to give him a bit of a one-way onto Corey. The knives are still out, though, as BABYBAY is looking for the ace. Still has some smokes available. Goes for the swing! It's BABYBAY with the ace.
Yo, what's up, guys? My name is BABYBAY. I play Valorant for FaZe Clan, and today we are going to be teaching you how to aim like me. Follow me in this video. I'm going to break down a lot of different things, and I hope you guys enjoy it. Guys, these are my sensitivity settings for aim labs. I have my game profile set to Valorant. I play on 16:9 in Valorant because I play at 1920 by 1080. And you know, the cool thing about this is you don't have to do, you know, mouse sensitivity converter in Google. You know what I mean? You just click Valorant, click the game that you own, plug your sensitivity in for that game, which is mine is 0.244. FOV for Valorant is 103, so that's why it's the same here. And ADS, you know, your scoped in sensitivity. I have mine at 1. You can have yours at whatever it is for you. And yeah, that's my sense for aim labs. Now we are on the video settings portion. Obviously, display mode, you want to be on full screen exclusive. I've heard that if you have it on windowed or even like your normal game, Valorant, Overwatch, whatever it may be, you'll get input lag. You know, my display resolution, 1920 by 1080, 240 hertz monitor is what I have. Display stretching ratio, I haven't really looked into this. It's just, I think it's just off by default. So I just leave it there. Max Q frames, I have mine on low latency. I don't know why I have it on there. I just do. I have frame rate limiter on to 400. Because I'm gonna be honest, like I have a god tier PC, but most of the time I'm not, you know, I'm staying around like 400, you know. So what I would do for you is, depending on whatever frames you get in game, I would try to mirror that, put it over here. If you're only getting about 200 frames max in a team fight or whatever it may be, 5v5 or whatever, put it to 200, put it to whatever, you know what I mean. Max UI frame, I think I just have this on default. I never tweak this at all. It's just on 60. Graphics quality, I have it on fantastic, but I have post processing off. I have muzzle flash off. I have shell casings off. Bullet impacts I have on. Player damage I have on. I don't know if that really matters that much. Target destruction I used to have on. Now I turned it off because a lot of these basically just had green clutter, and I'm sure this is even like the most optimized settings I could have. This is just whatever I put on. Quick thing that I just went through. I was like, you know, trying to make it less distracting, you know, when you shoot a target and it explodes, so I could focus more on my crosshair and etc. We are on to crosshair now, and my crosshair in aim labs is, thank God, the same as the one in Valorant. A lot of aim trainers, I feel like you are not able to replicate crosshair that you have in your game, but thank God aim labs is able to do that for me. So I have what is actually in Valorant 422 crosshair, which is, I mean, everybody knows Tens uses it, Corey uses it, I use it, color white. And if you want that crosshair, this is how you do it. And you can even import your own crosshair, which I haven't figured out how to do yet, but I'm sure there'll be a breakdown of that at some point. So far in my Valorant career on FaZe, I would have to say my favorite professional match moment would have to be either running it down on 100 Thieves in VCT, the first VCT, where, you know, we ended up getting second. We actually played them for the championship, and then probably running it down on Envy. There's tons of clips of me doing crazy things against both teams. Specifically, one play that I have in mind is when I had knives against 100 Thieves and I clutched up a round and got an ace. It was so cool. It was awesome. I actually felt like I was playing aim labs in there. I was aimbotting. Oh yeah, that's my favorite, one of my favorite ones. So it's actually funny, you know, people ask me all the time, like, have I changed, like what have I changed about my warm-up? You know, how did I become so good? Did I change my setup? You know what I mean? All these things, you know, when I finally popped off and like started dominating in pro play, it's like no ad, no cap, no, I'm not saying this because I'm getting paid. You know what I mean? Like, I actually have been doing aim labs for a hot minute now. And specifically, I was using Tens' playlist. I hope to make my own playlist at some point. But I have this warm-up routine where, you know, before I was just playing Valorant, and like maybe I did a little bit of like aim trainers, you know, like a little bit like just grid shot. But as soon as I started expanding into doing the Tens playlist that is on aim labs, which is like a bunch of different playlists or tasks that I did not use before, I only use grid shot. As I said, I noticed a big difference in my my aim in terms of like just hitting flicks, tracking, hitting crazy shots while I'm in the air with my knives, you know, on like weird angles that there's just not normal angles that you get to practice all the time. So that was a big factor. And then also in terms of my like actual peripheral setup, I found that, you know, I have to buy new mouse pads frequently. And I don't know why it's like that. Maybe I'm just a freak, but I like the feel of a new mouse pad. Once I wear it in, I kind of feel like I'm stuck. Maybe it's because I'm a low sense player, but yeah, that's what I've changed. My favorite task right now to do in aim labs is this playlist by Tens. It sounds cheesy, you know, Tens is, you know, Tens this, Tens that, but the man really knows a lot about aim, and I follow in his footsteps in terms of aim. Here, starting from the top, you have strafe track, which is good, or just horizontal, like just you know, the way I relate strafe track to like my gameplay in Valorant, and this is why you should find tasks in Valorant that suits your game, is that on strafe track, I'm basically imagining somebody peeking me and I'm holding the angle, and I need to be able to hit that flick. Just on a horizontal plane, everything's even headshot level. That's what I use for that. Motion track is a little bit more crazy for when jets are jumping in the air, right? You need to hit that. Spider shot 180. This is an awesome one. You need to be able to flick 180 if you hear somebody close to you, or if you know you get shot in the back, you need to be able to do the 180 and then readjust your aim in order to hit their head if you didn't do the 180 100% precise, which is very impossible to do. Multi-shot. This is just one to warm up your entire wrist. I love doing it. It's very calming. I love how I've always been a fan of aim trainers that had the orb come and then, you know, you have to hit it before it disappears. I really like that. Motion shot, again, it's just another thing. Motion shot ultimate this time, actually, which is like, it's just more intense on your whole screen. And I kind of skip these last three. I don't really use audio detection or detection or grid shot. But if you want to use those, like audio detection is good for your sound cues, detection is good for your reaction time, and everybody does grid shot. You know, I do grid shots still. I usually do 3 or 4 grid shots after I do this whole playlist. But yeah, that's what I'm rocking with right now. Woo! Nice little spree there at the end. Some general tips and tricks I have for people looking to improve on their aim is, you know, for one, you have to stay motivated and understand that it is a long process and it is a grind. You have to put the time in no matter what. Do not put the time in, just like anything else in life, by the way. You will not be successful in it. So, you know, really staying motivated and really just telling yourself that you can do it like at all times, and just seeing the end goal, like knowing that all the time you're putting in will have a good result. That's what it's all about, you know? So that is like the major tips and tricks I have. Obviously you want to be playing aim trainers like aim lab, like that is the trick, you know, like it's kind of like a cheat code for like working on aim and not having it be too stale, right? Because you hit a certain point in any game that you play where, you know, everything can feel like it's just stale and boring, and you need to be using aim training. So in terms of aim, from moving from Overwatch to Valorant, one of the adjustments I made was I lowered my sense by a decent amount. In Overwatch, I played on 800 DPI 3.5, which equated around 0.33 in Valorant, I would say roughly. And I lowered my sense to 0.244. I found that in Valorant, it was a lot easier to play on a low sense. But I mean, you still have freaks like Corey and Tens who play on high sense and are completely accurate. But for me and the way I aim, it just felt way easier in Valorant to have a lower sense, because in a game like Overwatch, there's a lot of crazy things happening. People are speed boosting past you. All the models are different sizes. And you kind of need to have a decently high sense in that game because of all the stuff that's going on. In Valorant, it's a lot more stable and steady. So this is how I hold my mouse. And I'm gonna break down a lot of the small nuances that I noticed that I you know, subconsciously am thinking about when I am holding my mouse, or like I'm feeling it like against my mouse pad. So obviously this is how I grip my mouse. Kind of like a palm-ish type beat, but I do claw up a little bit here sometimes. And also sometimes when I am rifling, I tend to do more of a claw. I don't know why I'm like that. Sometimes I'll play up here, sometimes I'll just fully extend. It really just depends on the day. But no matter what I do, seems like these two fingers on the side of my mouse are always like this. I always hold them like this. I'm on the side of it, and sometimes I can even feel my mouse pad. I can graze it with my fingertip down here. And my thumb, I squeeze this end right here. Honestly, it varies from day to day, but I feel like when I'm like on top of my stuff, I'm like actually squeezing it pretty hard. And it makes me like feel like I'm able to hit the flicks more consistently. And who I learned this from actually was my teammate Corey from FaZe. He was the one that was like pointing out, you know, like how do you rest your hand on your mouse every day? Because it is good to keep it consistent because you know, it just helps, you know, it helps with being consistent overall, right? In terms of your actual gameplay. So if I can have the way I hold my mouse every day feel really good and feel the same, then every day I should be, you know, feeling really good, and I'll just be more consistent in general, right? Another factor in my aiming is, for me, sometimes I can wear a hoodie with a sleeve and it'll feel good. Like, especially when I've worn it in my mouse pad, this will feel very good because it helps me glide more. But for the most part, I like to have no sleeve on, and I rest my arm on the table like so. My elbow is kind of like actually like off the table, but my whole arm is pretty much resting on it. Yeah, this is in general how I tend to aim. I guess like I'm an arm aimer when it comes to long flicks and like 180s and stuff. Then when it comes to my micro flicks, I tend to just keep the wrist moving up here, and that is how I aim. In terms of like my actual overall posture, I do try to keep my back straight as much as I can, like so. But obviously there's times where when I'm really dialed in, I tend to like hunch over a little bit and like really like get close to my monitor like this. POV action. But yeah, so overall, that's just how I tend to do my things. And you know, I recommend trying to do whatever works for you best. If this works for you, that's great. Just at the end of the day, make sure that you are being cautious about certain things, like, you know, getting carpal tunnel and stuff. At the very least, if you have bad posture, at least try to go to the gym. You know what I mean? That's a wrap, guys, for how to aim like a schmeagle like me. I hope that you guys got some useful tips and tricks out of this, and make sure you guys like and comment and let us know what you want to see next on this channel. Man, thank you guys so much for watching. You know I love you all, and schmeag hard, yo.